Is that? Yeah, I have the two.
And then there's one that... Two swim one way, one swim the other.
You can have 3 hands.
Ready?
Yeah. Yeah. Hello, my name's Helen, and welcome to Mary Ward Glass Class. The Mary Ward Centre is going to be moving home, and we wanted to celebrate this special building and the work that's been created here. Yeah, well, if you sit there,
yeah.
And then what we've been doing is like showing them, like to camera. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Ros. I've been coming to the glass class for I don't know, about 4 or 5 years, and it's a lovely class. Everyone's very friendly, and I used to hate Monday mornings, but now I really look forward to them. This is something I made fairly recently. We used powdered glass and made a tile with that. This piece is to remember our time in the Mary Ward building. So I've got the names of some tutors I've had here at Mary Ward, including Helen, and everyone who's been in a glass class with me. These are the floorboards in the old building, which I really liked. This is from the roof terrace, a little drawing of a sort of dome up there, and there's a lot of peeling paint in the building, so that's the peeling paint. I just love the feeling of everybody learning things. When I first came, I went to a drawing class run by Abigail, and every week we could hear the orchestra practicing downstairs, and they would be people who looked probably in their 80s or 90s, and they'd come in with their instruments looking very purposeful, and the noise was, you know, probably a noise really rather than particularly musical, but they were all having an amazing time, and I just thought that was wonderful actually, to have that provision for people.
Yeah. So that's the dome that Ros was talking about. That's what she drew. Details of, actually, when you start looking, like every time they've been painted, you've got like these lovely drops coming off, like almost frozen drips. These old stairs, these are what inspired Penny's piece with the bowl, these kind of barley twists.
Ta-da! He is my chameleon. My name is Carmel Alon. I've been coming to glass class, I'm not quite sure how long, I think about 3 years. Really enjoy it. I think the thing I enjoy most about it is that glass is so forgiving. You don't need to cut it precisely. It kind of melts in on itself, and you never entirely know what's going to come out. My chameleon I made for my mum for her birthday because my dad's nickname was Chameleon, and so I'm quite proud of him.
Yeah.
I tend to do a lot of things with stripes and blocks of colour, so this was an unusual one for me. I had 2 bits from a circle that I wanted to use up, cut out a circle, so they were the basis for it, and then a smaller orange circle here. I love these 2 colours together. I got to the stage where I had these bits and that bit, and I thought it looked a bit dull. And my husband, he's an architect, so he said, why don't you put some black stripes across it? So that's really how they came about. He's quite useful in that respect.
And loads of the people in the town
Didn't bring everything with us.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen it.
I mean, the idea in my head is an abstraction from a real life thing. So I'm thinking, you know, sort of floral gardens and stuff like that. But I don't want it to look, obviously, like, you know. So it's going to be abstracted, but based on the idea. That's what I'm going for.
Is it quite satisfying when you?
Yeah, when you sort of see what if it's like if it looks like it's falling together, and of course that's two. But there's obviously in this case there's two processes with this work, isn't it? Because it might look like it's falling together as you're making it, and then you don't know how it's going to fall together at all once it's fired, which is both the fascinating thing about the fused glass as well as the sometimes frustrating thing about it.
I was like going through this bit because sometimes when you get like the light, can you see like I don't know the shadows? I always really enjoy that. Sometimes I do that dance.
I now do things that look more like this, and I mean totally useless as a dish, but it throws shadows, so you get all sorts of different shadows and colours and whatnot. And I don't hang things up at the window because I think you lose a lot like that, and I like to sort of pick them up. And that's a different one with inclusions in it. But I just like to, I don't know. Oh, there we are. There's a good one of shadows.
Purples. What's quite nice is you've got the red.
Yeah, purple and the red. I like that. Yeah.
So probably, and also that mix, isn't it? Purples are two together. So perhaps you go from the blue. Maybe you do go through more of a kind of
What like this?
So my name's Rowena. I've been doing fused glass for about 5 years now, I guess. And today I'm concentrating on this postcard that I saw of a zebra, which I really, really liked. And I just thought it would lend itself to some fused glass. So I've got the legs with the stripy legs, and then I'm making up the body in this piece of streaky glass, and I'm going to decorate that. I've got these little pieces of dichroic, which I'm going to use for the neck, and I had in my stash some black irid, which I'm going to use for the eyes.
Okay, started?
yeah.
Hello, my name is Joanna and Joe. I've been coming to this fused glasses on and off for about 2 years. And last year, I make this little penguin. I like to get something done as I plan. If I wanted to make a dolphin, it end up come up with a cow. That's me, because the dolphin, the shape, everything, I said, oh, something like that. And I find it so frustrated. But those people, like either the tutor or those artists, they all feel, oh, but that's creativity, that's fine. It's so encouraging. Well, I'm happy. One thing which, because I enjoy it, is kind of time which I spend, and I make my brain free and just flow where it takes me to. And I think that's something positive.
Like the students were doing.
And the ceiling. And Mary herself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. This isn't. My name is Mary Ward. I've been coming to the centre for 100 years.
Exciting. Like excavation.
Yeah. It's like a dig, isn't it?
Yes. It should be filtered through the strainer, really. But I think
that's right. You can do it.
when I get close to the glass, I'll put it in the strainer there. So now you can see the object is being revealed from the. You have to sacrifice the mould, really. Well, I think you don't always have to, but I think we're going to do that here.
We'll do it gently.
Yeah, try it. There.
Oh my god.
Now you can see the shapes.
Oh wow, that's come out really nicely. Oh, that's come out really well, hasn't it?
Rinse that off. So that is a rhombic triicontohedron. half of it.
Originally, I've always, ever since I was, at school, I've been interested in polyhedra, which is what these are. And since I was quite young, I was making things, cardboard and paper cutouts, which you cut them out and then you stick them together to make the whole shape. These are obviously only just half shapes. And to make the moulds, I made the half shape in paper, and then I saturated those in beeswax. And in fact, I put them in the oven to make them nice and smooth. And then I coated those shapes when the beeswax was cold with the mould making material. And then when that had set, peeled out the waxy paper lining. And the good thing about that technique, which I'd never done it before, was that you really keep the faces, the corners, really stay quite sharp.
Hello, my name's Mary, and this is my test piece. By looking at the different glass pieces and the effect of the powder, I chose this part and this part, these two, to be transferred into this piece here. And I'm very proud of doing the tester because it took me several years to be told to try testers out first. Very wise, should have done it before.
I've been trying it out at home, yeah, as well. I've been trying it out.
This is how I keep all the little bits.
Right, stuck down.
So my name is Runela Chilton, and I've been coming to this glass workshop for about 3 years. I originally came because I was in sculpture working in clay, and I made a massive eagle's head that comes out of the wall, and I decided I would make the feather ruff of its neck in glass and also give it great big metal moose horns, so it's quite surreal. And that's what got me into the glass. So I've still not quite finished that ruff, but 3 years later, because I got so entranced with glass. And I think from my early years, although I studied architecture, I always wanted to study glass. And I love to do nature. I think I'm probably more socialised in nature with animals and birds than I am with humans. And these actually will be pendants.
They look so nice all together. Like the Natural History Museum.
We know when it starts.
You say so?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
My name is Clara Hancock. I have been coming to the Mary Ward Center and in particular to the glass fusion class for about 6 years. The piece I am actually wearing has been inspired by the colors of Mexico. So all the colors, the bright colors and vegetation and the way people work with textiles and design inspired me to create this piece of work.
Hi, my name's Shane. I've been coming to the class for 3 or 4 years, no more than that probably. You tend to lose count when you're having fun, and it's just been a fantastic experience to have been involved with this class. This bowl is based on me very much liking the way that the French vanilla glass, which is the white one there, interacts with the turquoise, and then the goldy colour I think just lends itself to the look I wanted to achieve as well. But it's really based on the French vanilla, the white and the turquoise, creating the darker colour on there. I like the way the glass sort of lends it so you can't quite see what's going on with them in terms of pattern and so on.
And I'm looking at patterns, but I don't know what people see in them or take from it. You know, it's a very personal.
But that's your starting point.
Yeah, and so this kind of like I see this as universal man, looks like the wiring like in the motherboard shape of the Uniman, universal man, and seeing, you know, against the light,
quite nice on that, isn't it? With a bit of luminosity.
Yes, yes.
And it's just holding it against the grinding head, gently moving it back and forwards. Don't hold it too hard.
No. It also means that I know that is a bit.
Yes.
But it backs up with these other things.
But it's also sort of, when you do it in series, you're sort of acknowledging there isn't one in. Yeah, I did one. I wondered whether they might work with it, but I've had two themes: volcanoes and solar flares and ice. And this is might nicely.
Yes. I wonder if you just photograph that with light behind or something.
I used to paint. That's the way I used to paint those small organic things large, so they became.
Do this and then
Oh my
goodness.
I had absolutely no idea how it was going to come out. I was surprised. It was just random. I worked it out beforehand, but I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how the spaces, will they stay the way I designed them? And they did, yeah. And then I ran out of all the whites, so this blue was put in. It was accident, but it worked, yeah. So if you put a light, it acts as a shade or a little tea light, and then it just works really well, yeah. I was experimenting with a lot of glass with spaces at that point in bubbles. So this was kind of
an extension
and evolution of that technique, yeah.
It's a beautiful medium to work with
yeah.
because the light is so wonderful.
Yeah, so
I like to use some translucent and some opaque sometimes, because you can either have that all the light reflecting back off or some of it passing through, which gives a whole extra element to think about.
My name is Bren, and I've been coming, I think, about 10 years, but I'm not quite sure, but it's a long time. I started previous to Helen's class doing jewellery, and then I moved over to do the fused glass thing, and this is the thing I love doing most of all now. I love making pictures. I have made bowls and dishes and all the things that we've done in the lessons, but I've kind of got stuck now on liking making pictures. So in fact, I was going to call this piece "Help," because I thought he was caught in this whirlpool here, but a friend said she thought that was a bit negative. So I think, and also after I'd finished it, I sort of wished I'd made them more moving with movement. You see, these three here are all still, and I think they look better when they look as if they're tossing on the waves. So I've got to call this Tranquil Harbour, I think.
This is the first bit I made in my very first class, this coaster, and I didn't know anything about fused glass, and when it said you can make a coaster in your first term, I thought it might take about 6 weeks. But there I was after a week, and I'd made this, and it's not very wonderful, but I made it, and I was really pleased with it at the time. But occasionally, sort of guided by the projects and the ideas, I find myself doing things that I hadn't expected, and then it turns out. It turns out to be better than I thought I was capable of, which is really nice.
Thank you.